grows the economy. I got $1.9 trillion right so far. I don't want to hear any more about you don't like looking at him. He knows, we all know, he couldn't have done it without you.
He's so creepy. His whispered statements may have raised eyebrows, but leave it to the media headlines, declaring it all part of the president's brilliant year, they say.
A Newsweek piece arguing the past 12 months have been surprisingly good for the commander-in-chief. Inflation is coming down from near record highs, and the price of gas has also fallen, while Biden can point to legislative accomplishments and even some major bipartisan wins. Biden can also celebrate better than expected midterm election results.
You can't necessarily argue with Biden being effective at accomplishing some of the policy goals that he and his progressive party set out to accomplish. There are two metrics when it comes to grading or weighing a politician, especially the president's effectiveness. One of them is, are they doing what's good for the country? Are we in a good place? Are things good? Are Americans mostly happy? And the other one is, are you accomplishing the agenda you have with your group of folks that is leading the way, that is kind of directing you? On the first one there, I think the polls say, no, he's not doing things that Americans are happy with. And we have polls here to show that. Do you feel the country is headed in the right direction? 26.1% says right, 65.3% says wrong. And with that information, they're saying it was a good year for him.
Well, and I've spent a lot of time working in politics. It all comes down to that Ronald Reagan question in 1980. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And the answer is no. For Americans, the answer is no. And you can look at the midterm elections, but that was a unique set of circumstances with the Dobbs hearing. It motivated young people on the issue of abortion. You're not necessarily going to have that heading into the 2024 election. Also, this will be 100% a referendum on Joe Biden, this administration, the failures that they've had. That being said, we are in a new era of politics, right? It's Wild West with the mail-in ballots. You know, Democrats used COVID, a virus, to append the political process. So that's completely changed the game. So,
Lisa, you work in a lot of politics and polling.
Yeah.
So Suffolk USA Today's poll has Biden's approval rating, right? 41.8% strongly disapprove, 10.3% somewhat disapprove, 27.3% somewhat approve, 17.5% strongly approve. So while Biden's administration is touting successes and he's sort of sitting in that middle ground, are things going well for him truly, or are they getting a false sense of security?
Well, I think a lot of it, I mean, look, you can't, we are so far out from 2024, right? So even using the midterm election to look to 2024 is essentially meaningless. No offense to this columnist, but it is irrelevant, right? We have to look at the set of circumstances heading into the 2024 election. And look, the Fed's raised interest rates quite a bit. That tends to take about a year to play out. So I don't think the economy is going to look any better heading into the 2024 election. So he's going to have to answer to that. You know, and so it also depends on who Republicans run, you know, what kind of, what sort of message that they're running on as well, because I think people need to hear how this person for Republicans is going to positively impact their life after seeing their life negatively impacted by Joe Biden. But no one should ever be underestimated at all.
Yeah, I think people need to understand when they're summarizing a year, this is a 4-year term, gas prices are going to creep one way or the other, and I hope they get really good, and I'll give him credit if he takes action to get them there, but I'm not going to forget who put them where they were. I'm not going to forget if I own a landscaping business and I put gasoline in every tool I use to do my business, and I lost that business over the summer because I couldn't afford to run those tools. I'm not ever going to forget that. And when he gets ready to run again, I know he's the guy that could put me back there again. And so I think people need to understand, I will always applaud a leader of our country for doing the right thing or doing something that helps us. But when the posture of all your policies seems to appease one subset of Americans that has one group of ideals like climate change or what we call woke culture, I think a lot of Americans are going to look at that and say, we want something different. So he has 2 years to figure it out. Republicans, please get yourself together and learn how to go out and find your voters, get them registered, and win these elections. Georgia should have been a Republican way.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.